Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfriti and Today FM rocks here in Tabwa.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilaiti Ambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, cancer kills 800 last year. Economy Minister briefs parliamentary members on budget. And crushing starts at Lautoka Mill.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The cancer death rate has increased dramatically over the years in Fiji. In an alarming revelation today, the Health and Medical Services Ministry stated that 800 Fijians died due to cancer last year. Pranita Prakash has more.
Disease burden and mortalities linked with cancer ranks the third highest in the Health Ministry statistics.
The statistics have shown that breast cancer, 41% of women with new cancers have been diagnosed with breast cancers, closely followed by cervical, endometrial, the gynae cancers. In the males, prostate, liver and lung continue to be the top 3 causes of cancer.
The ministry has also observed new trends.
The rate of cancers under age 30 is low by international standards. However, in the clinical scenario, in the clinical setting, unfortunately, this does not hold true.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Cancer Society says they will continue to assist Fijians diagnosed with cancer through the funds raised during their biggest morning tea event.
Funds raised from last year's initiative have been earmarked to provide counselling services for our clients. Funds raised from this year's initiative will sustain the counselling services as well as expand our palliative care program out in the community.
1,544 people were diagnosed with cancer last year alone. 17 organizations participated in Fiji's biggest morning tea last year, raising around $60,000. The annual event aims to raise funds to help fight against cancer. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Meanwhile, 31-year-old survivor Asanathan Riso says her whole world seemed to crash down on her when she was diagnosed with cervical cancer in January last year. The mother of 5 young children shared her painful journey during Fiji's biggest morning tea, an annual event held to raise funds to fight cancer. Pranita Prakash reports.
Cancer survivor Asanathan Riso says the only thing that came to her mind when she was diagnosed with stage 2B cervical cancer was death.
I knew nothing about cancer, cervical cancer. I had the symptoms, but I chose to ignore it. And my ignorance almost cost me my life and the lives of my children. I almost lost them.
Riso says she was able to travel to India for treatment through the assistance of the Fiji Cancer Society.
I was bleeding, I was losing a lot of blood, I lost appetite, and I was just thinking of my kids back home. I was really homesick. I was in so much pain. One night I just cried out to the Lord, Lord, it's better for you to take my life rather than having me to go through with this pain. I can't take it anymore.
The consultant physician at the CWM hospital says events such as the Bushel's biggest morning tea help in fighting cancer.
The help that you give today and through all the fundraising efforts that are ongoing, it helps screening initiatives amongst work areas to purchasing of diagnostic tools.
Meanwhile, the organizers of the event, Motibai Group of Companies, is calling on every organization to take up such initiatives and raise funds for a noble cause. Last year, $60,000 was raised by 17 companies. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Parliamentary members were today given details of the 2018-2019 national budget. Attorney General and Economy Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum, while explaining the allocations, says it is vital for MPs to fully understand the budget implementation. Ali Kimbia reports.
Revenue collection and implementation topped the discussions during the briefing today as the Minister for Economy verified various forms of taxation.
FIRCA had this provision that if you had a restaurant and you served alcohol, you have to pay STT and ECAL, but that's all gone now. As long as you have $1.25 million or less, you don't pay STT or ECAL.
New initiatives and policies were also explained thoroughly by Syed Qayyum, who elaborated on its benefits on some of the businesses.
Irrespective of the size of the business, they are entitled to 150% tax deduction for the salaries that they pay to people who take paternity leave and home care leave. It's a system. There's no burden, financial burden on them.
Opposition members says the budget briefing gave them an opportunity to clarify their doubts.
It's becoming clear now what's being announced in the budget during the budget session, because most of us, we were not clear what's going to come up and what is going to be promised and what is the revenue source and what will be the debt level that will take us to in the years to come.
Allocation of funds to various ministries were explained together with how it will be utilized. The debate on the national budget will begin in Parliament next week. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The National Federation Party has raised concerns regarding the continued involvement of engineer Sanjay Kaba in the Constitution Officers Commission. Party leader Professor Biman Prasad claims Kaba is also on the Fiji First candidate selecting panel for the upcoming general election, claiming Kaba's dual role is constitutionally wrong. However, Prasad hasn't bothered to state which part of the Constitution he is basing his claims on. Rachel Nath has more.
Seeking clarification for an issue which suspiciously looks like a non-issue.
If this is what we've been told from reliable sources that he is involved, so we've asked a very simple question, and you need to go and ask Mr. Kaba whether that is true or not.
The NFP leader Biman Prasad says he has been reliably informed that engineer Sanjay Kaba is on the Fiji First candidates selecting panel, claiming this is constitutionally wrong. Prasad says under the Constitution, only the Prime Minister, Attorney General and opposition leader are mandated to be on the board of the Constitution Officers Commission. Prasad adds that if Kaba is a member of both the Commission and the Fiji First Party Select Panel, then the integrity and the transparency of the COC is in question. However, he does not elaborate how the COC's integrity is being compromised and how this is constitutionally wrong. Meanwhile, Attorney General IR Syed Qayyum has rubbished Professor Biman Prasad's claim, calling it an act of retaliation to the Prime Minister's remarks on the leadership of NFP.
He doesn't say that about Rambuka. Rambuka is a member of the Constitutional Officers Commission. He runs his own political party. He may be sitting and selecting candidates. He does not say anything about Richard Naidu, who used to sit in the Constitutional Officers Commission. Munro Lees is stated on the audited accounts of NFP accounts that Munro Lees is the lawyers for them. He's a partner in them. The leader of opposition is the leader of her party. She sits in the Constitutional Officers Commission. So why is he picking on Sanjay Kaba?
Despite highlighting this issue, Professor Biman Prasad says he has no intention of taking any action against Sanjay Kaba. He just wants Kaba to step down from the COC. FBC News has established that the Constitution does not disallow Kaba from doing both jobs. Rachel Na, FBC News.
Due to the severe flooding earlier this year in the Western Division, cane farmers from Ba, Raki and Tavua have been advised to deliver their cane to the Lautoka mill, which began crushing today. The mill has had some major refurbishment and is expected to hit high figures for cane crushed and 2% more in sugar extraction. Felipe Naikaso has more.
High targets have been set by the Lautoka sugar mill despite the challenges faced over the years.
2017 was a milestone year for Lautoka. The staff responded fantastically. The mill team in particular turned things around, and in 2017, just by organizing themselves, making use of the money that we invested, they took themselves back to the top.
The Lautoka mill team continues to strive to the best performing mill in the country.
Lautoka mill was seen as the mill to benchmark by other mills. Always when comparisons were made, then people will say that we want this mill to operate like the Lautoka mill.
Some challenges still face the mill, which they will work to overcome this crushing season.
You know, it's a funny thing. When the mill starts to work well, it pulls on the supply. And I think our cane supply had become a little bit used to poor mill performance.
The Lautoka mill was ranked #1 mill for FSC last year as they crushed 455,781 tons of cane. This year, the Lautoka mill is expected to crush 485,000 tons of cane. Philippa Naikaso, FBC News.
Still to come, Boer residents benefit from government roadshow. And former ATSET chair to be sentenced on Friday. Stay with us.
Bula, neva ngo malakai leloma, ngo ngai nakas on do bagrong nam bula fep, nam bandua ena sere.
Hoya o vasit sai sai lambasa, ya on do talita na barong nam bula FM nam bandua ena sere.
Gua do tumeli aku na tau no hinga toka, talita kina na barong nam bula FM, nam bandua ena sere.
Wana tunga nam bula FM, nam bandua ena sere naluan.
Neva ngo fane na tau no ngo singa toka, kita on do talita kana bula FM, nam bandua ena sere.
Bula FM, nam bandua ena sere.
Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has urged the people of Mboa to be mindful of political candidates and what they promise. Bainimarama was speaking at the opening of the government roadshow in Mboa yesterday. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
With this year being elections year, Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has warned the people of the province of Mboa about political candidates who will say outlandish things to get in the news.
These politicians will make promises with no regard of whether what they are saying makes economic sense, even if they know what they are saying is absurd, impossible and even irresponsible. They have nothing to lose.
Opening the two-day Wainunu Roadshow in Mboa, Bainimarama says unlike these politicians, government is focused on solutions and improving the lives of every family in Fiji, as announced in the 2018-2019 budget last week.
This is also a chance to tell the people some of the government plans or programs they are not aware of. Since we are all contributing to the growth of our economy, we should also be reaping all the goods that we have achieved.
More than 300 government officials from over 50 different agencies are at the government roadshow in Wainunu, bringing their services to the people.
We have now begun with Wainunu. For my northern tour, we will have some discussions with the villages and open some new homes, as this is part of my government's promise to all Fijians.
The opening of the roadshow marks the first official program for the Prime Minister on his tour of the Northern Division this week. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC News.
Former ATS Employees Trust Chair Jaideer Singh will be sentenced on Friday by the Lautoka High Court. The matter was called today for mitigation submission. Singh, who is charged with contempt of court for a statement he allegedly made during the ATS strike saga, has been found guilty by the court. In January, during a press conference, Singh made allegations against the judiciary, saying it's controlled by one minister. The defense today filed that the court is not to be vindictive when sentencing a person, but rather give the person hope for the future. However, the prosecution stated that Singh has not tendered any form of apology or shown any remorse to the court, which is why he should be punished with imprisonment and also be fined. Jaideer Singh is currently in Australia. A new allocation has been made in the budget for 18 new climate adaptation projects and 8 mitigation initiatives. Economy Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum says with an allocation of $651 million, government will ensure the economy is engineered to weather any storm. Kelly Vavala reports.
The climatic projects that will be undertaken in the new financial year include building stronger schools, seawalls and flood-resistant waterways.
Government is aggressively investing in our national infrastructure to protect Fijian families from the devastation of changing climate. Because while Fiji may be extremely vulnerable to rising seas and strengthening storms, the vulnerable label doesn't limit our ambition.
The Economy Minister says government aims to take proactive measures to protect all Fijians, the pristine resources and economic future from climate-induced threats. Climate champion for COP23 Inyasari Ratu says the allocation is critical to building resilient communities.
We need to prepare accordingly. We need to be more proactive, and of course the utilization of these funds that we are given therefore becomes very, very important, because we will need to survive and we will need to continue to support our people.
Meanwhile, the plastic bags levy will increase to 20 cents at all point-of-sale outlets, and this is a major initiative to further reduce plastic waste and usage. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Digicel Fiji has renewed its sponsorship for the 2018 Nandi Bula Festival for the 5th successive year. The company says by engaging in the charity fundraiser, they will be able to help the people of Nandi. Nandi Bula Festival Association has thanked Digicel for their continuous support to raise funds for the needy.
You have worked hard, and we are proud to be associated with this festival, which has been organized for 58 years, the only unbroken festival in the country.
We are looking for a wonderful festival with Digicel this year, and we're looking forward for further years for Digicel to work with us.
In sports later with Jamie, British High Commission in Fiji gives full support to the English team ahead of the FIFA World Cup match against Colombia. But up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break. SBSE welcomes tax incentives in the new budget. And in growing Fiji, extension work to improve water supply in Navuso. Stay with us.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singatoka. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singatoka.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In business tonight, the South Pacific Stock Exchange has welcomed the tax incentives announced in the budget. Chief Executive Krishika Narayan says it's great news for companies anticipating to list on SPSE, as they'll get exemption of taxes from income and capital gains derived in the process of listing. Narayan says the government has proposed the Income Tax Act will be amended to grant exemption for any gains made by a resident from the sale of any capital assets, including shares.
If the company in the process of restructuring or in the process of amalgamation or reconstruction, the company derives any income or any capital gains, then, and if it's only particularly from the sale of shares, then that was exempted from any income tax or capital gains tax. Now with this budget announcement, the clarity has been provided that if there is any income whatsoever derived.
And we now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the trading world.
A quick look at the markets. The US manufacturing index rose in May, indicating business expansion and optimism persist despite elevated trade concerns. Looking at what's coming up, the Reserve Bank of Australia seems certain to keep its interest rates unchanged at 1.5%. New Zealand's global daily trade price index is due tomorrow, followed by details of Australia's May trade balance. The US celebrates Independence Day on Thursday, but on Friday the Federal Reserve releases the minutes of its June meeting, followed by US unemployment and payroll figures on Saturday. So an interesting week, and we'll see how it impacts the currency performances in days ahead. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar showed minor gains against the Chinese yuan, the Australian dollar, the Kiwi dollar, and fell marginally against the other currencies we cover. As for the commodities market, oil prices were on the rise at $74 a barrel. Gold was down to close at $1,240 an ounce, and silver closed down as well at $15.83 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, over 15 households, a church and a primary school at Navuso village in Rero will soon have access to piped drinking water. Over $358,000 will be spent on a project which includes the extension of water pipes from Giolevu to Navusa Junction to the agricultural settlers living along Giolevu and villagers who have relocated from flood-prone areas. Currently, the community is drawing water from a borehole that is not sufficient to meet their needs. Work is expected to be completed by mid-August. And that's business for tonight. Jamie joins you now with sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening in sports tonight. And the Naita Siri outdoor event Skipper Cup loss. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The Fiji Airways men's sevens team went through its last training run today before departing for the United States to continue preparations for the Rugby World Cup Sevens. French top 14 stars Leone Nakarawa, Chusua Tuisova and Semi Kunatani were part of the head-out this afternoon, while Semi Ranranra joins the squad at the Nandi International Airport tonight. The team will be based in the state of Utah for 2 weeks before moving to the game's venue a week before the World Cup. This Saturday's Skipper Cup semi-final between Nandronga and Naita Siri will be a grudge match for the Highlanders, who lost to the Stallions early in the competition, laced with star players such as Liva Ikanikonda, Nasoni Rocco and Sakeo Raloa. This year's Naita Siri side will hope to bring back lost glory to the province. John Tambori with the story.
It could not get any tougher than to face defending champions Nandronga in the semi-finals.
Nandronga has been a consistent performer for the last 10 years. So they've been there so many times. They know what it's like to be playing at a high-pressure games. So they're not going to give it out easy.
Naita Siri veteran and former Sevens player Nasoni Rocco says Nandronga will be a hard team to beat, especially with the caliber of players in their side.
You have to watch Chutu Tumelangi, and they have Rupen Nasinga. They have a good experienced player.
Last year, the Highlanders failed to go beyond the semi-finals, but coach Sewambu has devised a plan for this week's game.
It's all just about staying relaxed, but staying focused on the job and making sure that whatever changes we're trying to do at training, we'll go out and execute well.
It's been almost a decade since Naita Siri last tasted provincial rugby glory. Now, in order to bring that back, they first have to dethrone Nandronga in their home ground this Saturday. John Sabore, FBC Sports.
Belgium became the first team to fight back from 2 goals down to win a World Cup knockout game since 1970, when it ended what looked like Japan's fairy tale match this morning. Roberto Martin's side was trailing 2-0 against Japan when he brought in Marouane Fellaini and Nessa Chadli in the 65th minute. Fellaini went on to score the equalizer before Chadli netted a 94th minute winner as they defeated Japan 3-2. Meanwhile, Brazil roared in the World Cup quarterfinals with a 2-0 victory over Mexico this morning. Neymar scoring a goal and assisting in the second to drop Mexico out of the knockout stage. Gareth Southgate has urged his players to write their own stories by steering England to a first knockout win at the World Cup in 12 years. Southgate has described the game against Colombia, ranked 4 places below England, as his side's biggest in the last decade. And England football fans in Fiji will be up early tomorrow morning to support their team in their match against Colombia in the last 16 of the World Cup. Acting British High Commissioner Joel Watson revealed how Britain's government buildings around the world will all be showing their support for their national side. England takes on Colombia at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
I shall be up ready and cheering the team on, but at the High Commission and in pretty much every British government building around the world today, the Cross of St George is being flown as a mark of support for the team.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful later on, check out some amazing wedding dresses made of toilet paper. That's coming up.
Narang golesenya, Obama ketegenakas, dorong-rong binakabe on Radio Fiji 1 nandomi.
Ayaw benyana, dorong on Radio Fiji 1 nandomi wisi ihingatoka.
Nguelo ilaisa ingatoka. Rong-rong binana heramakawa ina Radio Fiji 1 hingatoka.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomi viti.
In new media tonight, while most smartphones have gone all in on full-screen displays, BlackBerry continues to make phones with physical keyboards. However, many users are not liking this feature. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's been a great day, quite comfortable, the sun was out and the winds were moderate. But the nights will still remain cooler, so grab more blankets. Taking a look in the west, sunny with cloudy intervals and gusty winds. Eastwards from Pakaba to Suva, same can be said for this side, but sunshine was out and about throughout the day. And up north, slight morning showers crossed by, but otherwise fine weather here as well. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, rough seas. For the tides, high tide at 10:32 p.m. with low tide at 4:26 a.m. Sunrise at 6:39. For tomorrow, more great weather coming our way and more humidity accompanies. Tomorrow's temps, temperatures are glued to higher 20 degrees. And looking further on to Thursday, there's build-up of showers. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked, what do you think of the 16-member Fiji 7 squad announced for the Rugby World Cup?
I think the fitness is there, so definitely they can win the World Cup, for sure.
I think this is one of the best teams. And they will win the World Cup as Leonardo Carrao is playing there with them.
We have a good team. We have overseas-based players that represented Fiji, that have put their faith in the national Fiji jersey. I think they'll do very well.
A good team. They always be like they are good in sports, and they must have to bring their training there.
In my point of view, we've got professional and experienced players, and there's no doubt we can lose. If they lose, well, no reason for that.
This team is good because it has some overseas players.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, cancer kills 800 last year. Economy Minister briefs parliamentary members on budget. And crushing starts at Lautoka Mill. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, are you happy with the new initiatives announced in the national budget? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day sent in by Spencer Robinson. The beautiful photograph was taken from the Ahau government station on the gorgeous island of Rotuma. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye for now.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ लुम्बुआ से। जैसे फ्रेंडी नॉर्थ मशहूर है, वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है, वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।